Well, hello everyone, and you join us here today to talk about, well, the day really, because every day happens once in a while, some might say almost every single day, and so we're going to pick some watches that are suitable for that. It'll all make sense. Tom, are you having a good day so far?
Fantastic. Even if that's a lie.
Do you feel you're wearing the right watch for your day?
I've got a trusty Casio on, so what could go wrong?
That's a fantastic everyday watch. It's not the only one. We are going to pick 10 different everyday watches, and we're going to pitch them to each other. Dear viewer and listener, Tom's going to pick 5, I'm going to pick 5. Why don't you tell us in the comments below who you think picked the best everyday watches? In the spirit of New Year goodwill, Tom, I'm going to let you go first with your first everyday watch selection.
Oh, thank you kindly. It's a bit of an easy question. Are you a fan of 70s inspired cases?
I've heard of them.
Yeah, well, if you hadn't, I'd tell you to go to hell and show you the Swatch Timetric. So I'm just going to read straight up from Swatch's little blurb here. So it starts, matte silvery. Okay, so that's nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
Doesn't specify. I guess that means metal. The Timetric sports an unexpected super thin metal bracelet. So again, doesn't specify build quality or finish, but it's unexpected, Andrew, and that's quite fun, isn't it? But it speaks the language of vintage sports because it's inspired by 70s design, which is a very popular feature of a lot of popular watches these days. But actually, this Swatch is very, very nice looking, isn't it? And a perfect everyday.
To be honest, them calling out the 70s design, at the end of that paragraph, they say, straight to the point. They're not beating around the bush. They're going, we know what you want. We can make it. Should we just do this? Let's just do this thing.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it? It's got a lovely polished finish to it. I really like the lines on the case. It isn't as sort of brutalist as some of the sort of boxier 70s case designs. It's got some quite nice rounded edges, which are very, very pleasing. And a contender for a watch that looks way more expensive than it actually is at £165, which is a bargain.
I love the nondescript matte silvery material, especially for your £160 there. But the dial as well, it's got those very fine markings give you the sense of accuracy. It probably isn't that accurate, to be honest, but it looks like it. But do you remember school clocks? This looks like a school clock.
Sure, yeah.
So I like it, but I also feel slightly anxious.
Yeah, it might run backwards as it nears 3 o'clock.
Yeah, it's a great choice. Tom, for my first watch, I've spent a little bit more than you have, but I think I've gone down a similar sort of vein. This has a silvery matte finish on the dial. Again, nondescript. But it's got that kind of blocky 70s, chunky. It's somewhere between considered for design's sake, but also like, oh hey, just like draw a rectangle and put a dial on it and done. This is the Grand Seiko Sbgv245, and the reason why I'm pitching it...
Hang on a minute. It looks familiar. Are you speaking from experience?
Well, the reason I'm pitching this particular one is because I got one.
Yeah.
I got one, yo. I bought this a few years ago for a very good price, and I absolutely love it. Although I'm a one-watch person, since I have bought my Tudor Black Bay 58, I can't seem to let it go. It's just, it's quartz, so you don't have to set it. It's got water resistance, 200 meters. It's underneath the crystal where everything's protected. It's really beautifully made. Like, the dial is fantastic quality.
Yeah.
And then the case is really nice too, but that's going to take a beating as you wear it every day. But the dial is always nice and just protected in that. So you get to enjoy that luxury horology whilst also wearing it every day and beating it up.
Yeah, those hands are just so sharp, aren't they? They could have your eye out. And I really love the very subtle light grey of the dial as well. And actually, my favourite thing about it is that fabric strap. I think that just ties the whole thing together like a nice rug.
It really does. And actually, when you see the watch, and it's probably similar of that Swatch, the steel case with brushed finish and then the brushed grey dial, the whole thing feels like it's just milled out of this solid block of metal all the way through. So it feels so rugged. And I wouldn't even sell it, even if someone in the comments were to offer me $10,000 for it.
Cool, yeah, good one. All right, for my next one, I've gone for a Nodus. So Nodus is from LA, a watch brand from LA, and that's where all their watches are designed and assembled. It was started by two lads, co-founders Wes and Cullen, who presumably one day said to one another, we should start a watch company, and the other replied, you Nodus. Okay. So that works. So this is the Seiko Sport Classical, and it's a go anywhere, do anything watch with a lovely, simple, legible dial there in a nice sunburst, Brittany turquoise colour, I would say. It's 316L steel case with a 38mm diameter, and the movement is coming from Japan. It's a Seiko TMI NH38, so reliability is assured there, I'm sure. It's got sapphire crystal with anti-reflective coating on the inside. Nice bit of superluminova for that glow-in-the-darkness goodness. 100 metres of water resistance and a nice knurled screw-down crown. And this is the best bit. Nodus's proprietary clasp, the Node X clasp, which is a cool little innovation from them. The Node X module enables quick and easy on-the-fly clasp adjustment to enhance comfort for wearers. Pretty cool.
It's amazing what people can do these days, isn't it? $475.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it?
That's a really cool watch. Another really cool watch, if you're willing to spend significantly more, is the Tudor Ranger. Now, when it first came out, we were all like, that was a little bit of a damp squib. They were like, dun, 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 and then Ranger.
Yeah.
But when you take all that stuff away, actually the watch by itself is just a really good watch. In-house movement, 39mm case, basic Explorer style dial. It's especially on the greenish NATO.
Yeah, it's best on the greenish NATO, I think.
A little bit of Antarctic cash, you know?
That's what the Arctic voyagers were sporting back in the day.
Yeah, they were on that big boat, that big red boat that carves through the ice, and they were like, bro,
yeah,
stainless steel strap, try hard much, that's going to get cold.
Yeah, you're way too overdressed for this expedition. Get a NATO strap for it, son.
It's as basic as a watch can be, and built to a level of quality that is going to make it last for a long time, but without being such high quality that it's excessive.
Yeah.
It's going to look good with some knocks on it as well, isn't it?
Yeah, perfect everyday watch, you know, subtle enough, great build quality, and great brand recognition as well. Doesn't hurt, does it, eh?
Next one, Tom.
So this is from Nomos in Glashütte, and this is the Club Sport Neomatic. This is the perfect watch for life on the move in two radiant colours. You've got petrol green or polar blue sunburst dials with nice glossy printed numerals. You've got a beautiful polished case and bracelet in 37mm diameter, and it's only 8.4mm thick. So a nice slender everyday watch. The thickness is thanks to the in-house movement, the automatic DUW 3001, which itself is only 3.2mm thick. So that is a really nice, slender, dare I say, dressy, sporty, elegant, classy watch. But if you're wondering what it looks like, pictured here, you can see it on Sebastian, who has a wrist circumference of 17 centimetres.
Thanks, Sebastian.
It just looks great all the way across the board, doesn't it?
It's a really similar price to the Tudor Ranger. But where the Tudor Ranger, you kind of think to yourself, yeah, well, that's what you should be getting for that sort of price. The Nomos is more like, I can't really believe you can get something like that for that price.
Yeah, so for slightly under £3,000, you get a hell of a lot of spec for it, don't you? That in-house movement, it's all wonderfully finished. It's a little bit cheeky of Nomos, isn't it, really?
Yeah, and the quality is just fantastic. It's one of those real flies under the radar watches that looks a bit different, feels a bit different, is beautifully executed, comes from Germany instead of Switzerland.
Yeah. If you look down at something and see made in Germany on it, you're going to go, that's an enormous relief, isn't it? It's like, right, well, this is going to be all right.
Tom, for my next watch, I've spent a significant amount more money.
Oh.
This is the Omega Seamaster Aqua Terra. Now, you know they've sort of redone it with the smooth dials and the colours that look very much like the Oyster Perpetual.
You're going back to floorboards?
I'm going back to floorboards. There is still a run of watches that still have that floorboard motif.
Yeah.
It's the teak floorboards of a yacht, supposedly.
Okay. Sure. Still on the floor.
This one is £5,200, but because it's kind of the end of an era of this style, you'll find there are loads that you can pick up for a lot less.
Right.
And where the new one has lost some of the identity of the Aqua Terra that made it different to Rolex, this one still has it. The only real downside, as I've discovered, is that there are so many Aqua Terras that it's hard to pick. They run old lines alongside new lines. It's like if you went to BMW and they still sold both the old model and the new model, and you'd be a bit like, why?
Yeah, very confusing. But yeah, it's a great series and a great everyday watch. The nautical specifications of it aren't massively important, so it's not really a dive watch. So it's got that sort of versatility in its appearance, and it's it's a great little watch, isn't it?
Yeah, it still has 150 meters of water resistance. You get the anti-magnetic coaxial escapement, so it's a solid runner. It'll last forever. Made by an awesome brand, and it's a bit different as well. It's not just a Rolex.
Yeah, cool. So for my next one, I've gone for an old favourite, the Hamilton Khaki Field, but not the mechanical. It is mechanical, but specifically the auto. So this is a little bit dearer, about £100 dearer than the mechanical version. The automatic one is £550, but you get all the reliability and resilience of the mechanical version, but with the versatility of a sportier appearance on a steel strap and a compact 38mm diameter and a convenient automatic movement inside, so you don't have to wind it like you do the mechanical one. And it's got 80 hours of power reserve anyway, so that's really cool. It's black dial, 3-hander, looks great, does everything you need. It's got that Tom Wachowski character from Sonic the Hedgehog. Oh no, that's the mechanical one. Forget that, you don't get that. But yeah, really cool.
It's basically what someone would draw if you said draw the everyday watch.
Well, they couldn't make their mind up between what numerals they wanted, 24 hour or... It's cool though, yeah. Hard to argue with that one.
It really is. It's almost too obvious.
Sorry.
Which is why I've spent £9,850 on an everyday watch choice. Because, rich people have an everyday situation too.
Yeah.
And the JLC Polaris Date is, I think, the perfect antidote for that person's problem of finding an everyday watch.
Yeah.
You could wear a Rolex and be like everyone else on the heath with you, or you could buy something that says, no, I blow the leaves into a pile on my own lawn, thank you very much.
Yeah, with this leaf-coloured Polaris.
Exactly. This is JLC's real fly-under-the-radar piece. As you might expect from a high horology piece where you feel a bit anxious about wearing it, this isn't that. This is the piece that you can wear, and they've decorated it in a lovely pine green to emphasise its everyday use. It might match your classic Land Rover Defender that you drive around in wearing your Burberry hunting gilet.
Gillet. Yeah, it's such a cool watch. You say fly under the reindeer. It's too close to Christmas still. You say fly under the radar, but I actually think this is sort of a hero piece of JLC's now. You've got the Reverso and you've got this side by side. One's sort of classical, dressy, and this is just all-out rugged sports. That smoky dial is awesome. The flashes of orange on the little indices there and the second-hand tip. I think it's so cool.
And you still get 200 meters of water resistance. This is on a lovely chunky rubber strap, so it will take every day. You just have to earn enough to feel willing to apply it to an everyday circumstance. That's a pretty good two-watch collection, actually. This and the Reverso.
Yeah. JLC have got you covered, haven't they?
Every single base.
On to my next pick. This is the JUNGANS Max Bill Mega Solar. So Max Bill is short for Maximum Billet, which, as we all know, is German for the big ticket. Or maybe it's the name of a Swiss architect, who can say. Anyway, so you're probably familiar with the Max Bill. It's lovely for its minimalist design and pebble-shaped case. So you could go for that, and that would be a stellar choice, and you'd be well happy with that. Or you could get the Mega Solar version. It's 38mm again, but this time in titanium. And the automatic caliber inside has been replaced with a connected radio-controlled solar movement, the J101.85. So via JUNGANS' own time signal sent from the JUNGANS app, it grants the watch easy adjustment of time zones and a perpetual calendar. So that's pretty cool. And you get all that lovely pebble shapeness as well, and a very, very nice minimal Bauhaus style dial. Very, very nice subtle watch, but with some smart features as well. So really cool. Quintessential.
And the Max Bill, famously designed to be a watch in the purest sense. It's funny how it's become a design icon appreciated for the way it looks, when really every part of its design is to step out of the way it looks to be purely the way it functions. And I really like the addition of this solar functionality, this connectivity, because it's all about the way it functions. And for an everyday watch, That's my biggest pet peeve with a date, is forgetting to change it on the short months and then spending a week going, oh, I thought we were having a meeting on the 4th, and looking like a complete fool. So thank you, Jungans, for thinking about stupid people like me.
Yeah, really nice.
Tom, for the last watch, I'm going to chuck in another green dial, green strap everydayer. This is from Zenith, and it's the Chronomaster Revival with the very 70s looking case. Safari.
Ooh.
Now here's another watch. If the JLC didn't do it for you, but you're still looking to spend a significant sum, £7,500, this packs in 1969's seminal El Primero movement from Zenith, which may or may not have been the first integrated chronograph movement, depending on whether or not Seiko want to own up to actually having made it first.
Sure.
Never mind. Certainly the first integrated automatic chronograph movement in Switzerland, although that's quite a long thing to put on a trophy, is still a fantastic watch. Here as well, you've got the 37mm case, but in matte microblasted titanium.
That's nice.
And if there's something you want from an everyday watch, it's to not really feel like you're wearing it, right?
Yeah, skin friendly.
Light and agile, so you can slip through the trees into your neighbour's garden and retrieve your football. There's a lot to say for the beauty of the El Primero and Zenith's designs. They do a great job with it, but this extra touch of casuality, which is a new word for you there, in green, I just think it makes it a really, really nice everyday watch to enjoy a watch with, but also not feel like you're wearing something too flashy.
Yeah, it's a whole mixture of design elements in there, isn't it? It's a very industrial case, a very industrial crown and pushers. They seem to come out quite far.
For quick action reflexes, Tom.
They'll definitely catch on a belt rung. And yeah, very, very sporty chronograph dial and yeah, nice fabric strap, but it all meshes together really, really nicely. Very cool watch. I really like the micro-blastedness of the titanium. I'd like to touch that one day.
Wouldn't we all? It does have a date as well, Tom, but it's so small, hard to read and well blended in that even if it is wrong, you won't be reading it anyway because you'll forget your watch even has a date.
Yeah, it is very well blended in, isn't it?
Well, there you go, everyone. 10 everyday watches for a number of different budgets. Who do you think picked the best selection, Tom or myself? Let us know in the comments below. Also, let us know what everyday watches you recommend for use in and amongst other people in the real world. Speaking of which, Tom and I have got to go back to our basement now, so thank you so much for watching and listening, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.